Hey guys, welcome to a moment of sanity and Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. In today's video we are here to talk about forgiveness, And I think it's a huge opportunity to talk about forgiveness in this Christmas. If you're listening to me, it's the 24th or 23rd depending where you're living in the globe, And this video is to talk about a little bit this spirit of Christmas. Christmas is a really nice time for us to reconcile with our family members, with our enemies. Like you guys know, I'm Catholic, I'm Christian. So for me, Christmas is a time, of, let's say, reborning, of borning in Christ again, a time of hope. It's not just about family meetings. It's not just about having parties. It's not just about spending a good time together. It's more than that for me, of course. But one of the aspects of Christmas is this opportunity to give a reset in our relationships. Doesn't matter how chaotic they are. And today I'm here to talk about the difference between forgiveness and what is a reasonable forgiveness and how should we forgive the others. Because we always have two streams, like a pendulum. We always have two streams. From one side, you will have Christians, you will have people that are really emotional and tell you should forgive everyone in every single situation, and you should go back to talk with them, And in the other side, you will have people that will forgiving is negotiable. You shouldn't forgive. You shouldn't forget what people did to you, and etc. And we are here to talk about this because it's extremely important. Forgiveness is such an important thing in our lives, not because of the other, but because we need to turn the page sometimes in our lives. We cannot be holding this resentment, negative emotion, too much sadness, too much anger, too much resentment is not healthy for us. It's not good to our health. Feeling resentment all the time, every single time that you see that person, you feel pissed because what they did and etc. It meant that you didn't move on. One of the really nice phenomena that happen, not nice, but one really interesting phenomenon that happen is people that leave codes, usually their life meaning has something to do to destroy the code. So after they realize what the code is, their life meaning is destroying the code. And partly, of course, because of the emotional abuse, because of all the things that they pass through the code and they don't want other people to go there. But sometimes in our, making this analogy, in our lives, someone did something really bad to us and we still living accordingly to those terms. We still living to prove to the person that we are more than what they said. We're still living, trying to prove to them, even though they don't even think about us anymore or they never thought about us anymore. We still live in our heart trying to revenge, and if we don't revenge is straightforward towards them, like the person that go against the code, we try to do it in symbolical ways. So like, my parents, said to me that I would not be anything. So today I will win a lot of money and I will show you who will not be anything, Or trying to, you told me that I'm ugly. Like my last girlfriend told me that I'm ugly. Okay, so now I will get the most beautiful girl in town. I will work out just to prove that you are wrong. And these things are not good because maybe in the first moment, yes, but it's not good in the long term because it's the wrong motivation. It's the wrong motivation. That person still has control over you. So forgiving is a way to get this thing out of your heart, to leave this kind of stuff. But also, we cannot be naive. We can't be naive like this guys here. So you just go back to the girlfriend like, no, everything is okay. What you told me is also okay. It's not like that. Forgiveness is different than reconciliation. Reconciling with someone is totally different. Are two different things. forgiveness is the first step. We forgive not just because of the other, because people commit mistakes also. If you get pissed for anything, my friend, you have something really wrong with you. But I'm not talking about those cases that people get pissed with small stuff. I'm talking about really serious stuff, or people that really had a damage in your life. So this is the first step, to forgive. So we turn the page and we move on. We live our lives. We seek to be the best, not because people humiliated us and make us feel like trash and to prove to them. No, we seek to be the best version of ourselves because that's good for us. It's good to have a nice life. Being the best version of ourselves is not just beating ourselves up, because we don't think that we have value or something similar to that. It's because objectively it's the best to us. You get what I mean? Human beings desire naturally happiness, and seeking happiness is not doing revenge. If you're doing revenge, you're still stuck there. So forgiving is the first step. But in order for us to not be naive and this kind of stuff happen with us again, first we need to learn the lesson. Like imagine that you were cheated by your girlfriend. You need to meditate a lot, because being betrayed, being cheated on is something really serious. When you go to, I never read the at Dante's, but I know that he puts on the bottom of hell betraying, cheating, and this is a really serious sin in Catholicism, but not just a sin objectively. It causes serious damage to people because people start to doubt about their perception and so on. So if someone cheated on you, you can forgive them, but reconciling with them is a totally different aspect of is a second step. Forgiving make you open to reconcile with them, but if they don't admit their fault, you can reconcile with them. And sometimes this has two possibilities. One, the person is conscious about their mistakes, so they're conscious that cheating is something wrong, but they don't want to admit that this is something wrong. So in this case, you forgive them in order for you to be free, and in the case that you're a Christian, I pray for the person to realize how bad that is, how much hate it will create on others and how much others will hate you. You got what I mean? I pray for the person in the case of Christianity. But the thing is, this is first case. The second case is that the person is not conscious of it, and this is what makes the relationship really complicated, because the person is not realizing. So they did something bad, but they are not really realizing that this is bad. And this happens a lot with narcissistic parents, with narcissistic people, because sometimes the narcissistic person is not aware of the evil that they did. So this can happen. Sometimes we are not aware of the mistakes that we commit. And then this kind of situation has a really huge level of complexity. Because sometimes, even if the person is open for you to talk with them, they can't grasp what they did wrong. So there is this situation, or they're not open for you to tell them, and they're not conscious of it at the same time. So they're not open for you to tell them that they are wrong, what they did was wrong, or they don't consider that thing as wrong too. So you will need to measure the distance, how much damage they are causing to you, or whether they will cause this damage again. And of course, the relationship will never become the same as it was before, And you see the complexity of this, These are all things to meditate about, people that we can forgive. About people that we hate and we have some resentment. These are all things to meditate upon. And the thing is, I say too much, I'm sorry, guys. It's just a bad habit. Okay? And But if you're able to reconcile, my friend, always reconcile. Always reconcile. It's always better to have a relationship than not having one. It's always better to have a friend than not having one. You get what I mean? It is really, really important to be free. Of course, another advice, the third advice, after we know how to distinguish both, take your own time. Take your own time. Be humble. And when I say be humble, is sometimes we Christians, because of the morals, we force ourselves to do stuff that we are not comfortable with. Sometimes. And sometimes just being reasonable and measuring the damage that was caused is reasonable. So you can first put all your pieces together. Put all your pieces together. After, try to reconcile. And in the process that you're putting your pieces together, try to find other people to talk about it. People that are reasonable. People that you can trust upon. And if you don't have anyone, don't worry. I will give you now an exercise that you can do, upon this situation. And every single time that the situation triggers you, you can do this exercise. So what you would do, you will imagine that this person is in front of you, and you will write everything that you want to tell this person on your face. If you're Christian, do a prayer first. There's no problem to put out your feelings. Again, there are some Christians that they have this feeling, oh, I shouldn't say this, I shouldn't think this way. Look, we don't choose our inclinations. I'm pretty sure if you were to choose your sins, if you were to choose your vices, if you were to choose your weakness, I'm pretty sure that you wouldn't pick those ones. Okay? I'm pretty sure that you wouldn't pick those weaknesses. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't choose my weakness too. I maybe would choose other weaknesses. So this exercise is in order to make you conscious of the damage. If you don't allow yourself to suffer, there will never have a cure for it. You will always not be fixing the problem, but pretending that you are fixing the problem. So you will sit down and imagine that the person is in front of you. Imagine that you're writing a letter to that person, and you write down every single thing that is inside of your chest. And my friend, if you could put every single thing out on this Christmas, it was already valuable enough. You already did this first step in order to forgive, in order to move on, in order to turn the page towards your life. You don't need to give to the person. Don't give to the person. Just speak everything out without thinking, just feeling it. Don't worry about writing things right. I'm not telling you to write a book. I'm not telling you to write a classical book and you're thinking about every single word. No, just put it down. Just just that. Okay? After doing that, after finishing it, take some moments to contemplate what was in your heart. And you might have even more things, and give yourself some time to contemplate. And if you felt triggered again, do the exercise again. And the thing is, I know that we live a busy life. Even though we are in Christmas season, you might have more time, but some people are quite busy on Christmas. So there is a quick version of this exercise. Is based on what my friend Solomon, he said to me once about it. And in my opinion, is a quick version of this exercise about the letter. Okay? This exercise is, if you don't have the time to sit down with your feelings and write it down in a safe spot, take some time and do an audio, like you were talking with the person. Like speak everything out and after listen to the audio. This version of the exercise is more doable, because I know that many people, now that we live this rush life, we don't have that much time to dedicate to this kind of stuff. Sometimes we have kids, we have work, and etc. So this is the exercise. If you did this exercise, my friend, in my opinion, you are taking the first step to first move on in your life, and maybe, just maybe, reconciling with the other person. But of course, reconciling with the other person doesn't just depend on you, depends on also the other person. Okay, so Merry Christmas, pray for me, and I hope to everyone that Jesus can born in our hearts. Okay, see you guys.